Baş elçisi پەتەر hokstra efendim hazır Hollandiyadaki Uygurlar bilen görüş için bugün geldi. Amerika baş elçisi. Amerika'nın Hollanda'daki baş elçisi پەتەر hokstra efendim hazır Hollandiyadaki Uygurlar bilen görüş için bugün geldi. Amerika baş elçisi. Hollandiyada tunji qitim alaydı bir görüşecek. Hollandiyada Uygurlar bilen bir sohbet ötküzüş bizning derdimizni anglash uchun. Bugün Hollandiyada Uygurlarni bir ziyorat qilib keldi. Hollandiya kishilik huquq fondi nomidagi tashkilotni o'rnashtirgan.
Yes, bedankt voor uw komst. Je mag plaatsnemen alsjeblieft. Ja, dat is goed. Assalamu alaikum, ko'pchilik. Hayron bo'lgandik bugun Amerika baş elchisi Pətər hokstra yashamoqda. Yaqindagi Amerika biz uchun ko'plab yaxshilarni qildi, ular qilishtirib, tadrijidan do'stlikni kuchaytirib, jahmalarni qilyotdi. 10 oydan boshlab hayron bo'lgandik Hollandiyada biz Amerika elchisidan nayt yaxshi bir do'stlik munosabat o'rnatdik. Shu shaklda xizmatimizni yaxshilab qo'yamiz. Gapni ancha qilmay, anisi baş elchini taklif qildik, so'zini anglaylik. Ma'qul.
Ever since last November, the U.S. Embassy, especially the ambassador, is Netherlands, and we are very welcome for coming and joining us in this team. Thank you very much, and we are going to just invite to take a seat.
Qani Ahmadjon chiqib tabrik so'zi qilgan ma'no aytdilar ma'noda. Ahmadjon
is a student in studying
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is ئەلچىسى, and I'm a member of Dutch UYGHUR Human Rights Foundation. And thank you all today for being here, especially Mr. ھوكسترا. Thank you for being here. A Jewish writer and a Holocaust survivor, Elie Wiesel, once said, "When a person doesn't have gratitude, something is missing in his or her humanity." A person can be defined by his or her attitude toward gratitude. From humanitarian assistance for life-saving relief to development assistance and security assistance, as the world's most powerful nation, America has provided more foreign assistance than any other country in the world. The United States have inherited a specific and special responsibility, a responsibility that the United States chose for itself at the end of the Second World War. That is, to use its economic, political, and military might to deter and prevent another of the great wars between major powers that so consumed the early part of the 20th century. Like the Marshall Plan, like the creation of United Nations, and today, with no exception, as the world decided to turn the back toward the helpless Uyghur people, as the human universal value is being violated, as the never again is happening again, because America, who have decided to step up and help. Thank you, America. June 17, a special day for most of the Uyghur people, the day that President Donald Trump signed the Uyghur Human Rights Bill. We are happy because we have hope again. You can see the joy of every Uyghur in their face. This signing have given us confidence and hope for the future. As today, I'm living in a country where democracy, freedom, and equality. This gives me the opportunity to make the voice of my oppressed people. Thank you, the Netherlands. In the end, I would like to thank the United States for being here. We, as the members of Dutch Uyghur Human Rights Foundation, really hope for a long-term cooperation. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. It is it working? Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be here with you tonight. Hoeveel mensen hier weten Engels? Okay, maybe half? Half?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't speak Dutch.
Very basic, yeah. Newcomer.
Yeah.
Het maakt het niet zo makkelijk dat wij moeten in 3 talen, right? English, Dutch, and Uyghur. Okay, but I'm more comfortable standing up.
Thank you for inviting me. Het is wel hier heel mooi vanavond te zijn. I'm glad that I can come as the ambassador of the United States a few weeks or a month after the president has signed the Uyghur Human Rights Law. You need to translate?
Donald Trump efendimninki Uyghur kanununu ma'qullagandan bir necha kundan keyin sizlar bu yerda birlikda 3 kundan qo'shaman. Ben ayt memnunman.
It is nice to be in a country where hopefully we can bring the same kind of attention to and focus that the United States has on the Uyghurs, that the Dutch will be standing next to us.
Yani Amerika'dan kırgınlığı bolsa Hollandiya hükümetinden Amerika Uygurlarının yanında duruşunu bizim hükümetimiz.
I talked with Martijn van Helmert on the way down here today from The Hague, and I know that Martijn is a very good friend of your community as well.
Bunun burun ben Martijn van Helmert'le konuştum. Sen akvalına konuştum. Martijn'in ki diğer Uygurlardan ait yakın dostluk ilişkilerini ben bilip durmadım.
You know, I'm promoting U.S. policy and U.S. priorities here in the Netherlands, and so I look forward to the opportunity to work with Martijn and hopefully that similar legislation that we pass will also be passed by the Dutch Parliament.
Ben bir yerde Amerika'nın hükümet karşısındaki ilgili sürüşün, 12 Kasım itibariyle en düşün, benim vazifem şu, Amerika, Hollandiya'daki ve bu hususta Martijn bilen birlikte Hollandiya hükümetine okşaş Uygurlara karşı kollaş türden hem de okşaş şu kanun makullaşıyor birlikte hemkarlık yapıyoruz.
It's important that the United States continue its tradition and that the Dutch continue their tradition of standing up for and advocating for those people who are persecuted around the world, of course, which the Uyghurs are a part of that.
Amerika'dan Hollandiya özününki en önemli binaen izleyen milletler ve hukukları defsan olan milletlerin yanı turuş ve ular için avaz çıkarışını özününki mecburiyetle qarab kelgan ve bu hususda biz takımı çok özümüz geçişken vazifini qilamiz.
We had the opportunity yesterday to meet on Down Square. I don't know how often you are out there. Are you out there every day? Every Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. So you know, we will tweet out the photo we took of you yesterday, and I don't know if you sent out the photo of the two of us there yesterday.
Tönögün Uyg'urlarning baş elçi nimaga berib, Damskoyga berib, mana shu Abdurimjon qarindoshimizdan birga ko'rishib, uning rasmini tushib, ularni to'g'ri chiqaribdi. Bo'lsa uni samimi to'g'ri chiqarib qo'ygan bizningki qo'limizni bilinsin.
We will work with you because the only way that we will get change and hopefully some movement on this issue is that more people actually start to learn about exactly what is going on.
Biz bu sizlar bilan birlikda hamkorlashishni xohlaymiz va sizlarningki 5-10 kelganlarni taxmo jiq insonlarningki bilishi, bu ishni hal qilishningki, bu ishlarga bir chora tepishningki kam bo'lmaydigan bir qismi.
Our thoughts and our prayers and our thoughts, our prayers and our actions will be with you to help you.
Şuna bizniki hareketimiz olsun, bizniki siyaset cihetki aldığın o'rinda turadigan tadbirlarimizning hammasi hozir Uyg'urlar bilan aloqador.
And I think we were going to open it up if anybody had any questions.
Sizlarga rahmat deydi. Undan keyin tuyankilarning har qanday savol bo'lsa, hozir mendan so'rasa bir javob beraylik.
Yes.
My question is, what's the reaction of the Dutch government? So far, they are very quiet on the issue. America is advocating around the world for Uyghurs, and this is, yeah, I feel I am a Dutch citizen and European citizen, but I feel like I am being betrayed by my government and the European government. They are not. They are being very quiet on genocide. And my brother is I don't know where he is, in prison or in the camp. He was arrested in 2017. I don't know. My family don't know. We don't know where he is, and I don't have contact with my family. This is happening now in 2020. Yeah.
No, I
The reaction of Dutch government if you try to talk to them about working on Uyghurs.
I've talked to the Dutch government to discuss the Uyghurs. We haven't had much response to date, but you live in a free country. You have the right to petition your government.
Right, yeah.
It is important that you now petition your government because this should be an issue that the Dutch government would be inclined to support. This is who the Dutch should be.
Yeah, yeah. Are they doing that at European Union, for example?
You'll have to ask the Dutch government exactly what they are doing.
Yeah.
But as what I can say is in the last 12 months, whether it is on national security, whether it is on economic issues, we've seen, I think, a steady progression of a change of public opinion and a change of government opinion here in regards to the Chinese government. Much more supportive of where the United States is there.
It should be like that.
Yes,
especially
and-
after Corona.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think what you will also see is the more that we can raise the visibility of what is going on
Right.
with the Uyghurs, the more likely it is that you will see more action from the Dutch government. That's how it works in the United States. I would think that that's kind of similar to how it will work here in the Netherlands, but I'm not an expert in Dutch politics. But I think seeing you yesterday on Dam Square with the photos and pictures of, is it 7 or 9 people?
17 people.
17 people from
yeah.
your family.
My family, yeah. My father, mother, 3 brothers, their wife and their children.
Yeah. So seeing the pictures
Total 17 people. Yeah.
and hearing the story of 17 people in his family.
More
that you-
than 3 years,
Yeah.
I have lost contact. I don't know they are alive, died, or concentration camp.
Yeah. And hearing the reports that have come out in the American press recently about what's going on in the camps and those types of things. Now is the time for us to do work, but also for you to do work to tell your story.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And hopefully we will get hopefully we will move forward and get a positive response.
Yeah.
And with my understanding of the Dutch government, I think that's possible.
Yani ablacan dedi ki yani benim ailemdeki benim tuqalarim şu kampın içinde yo'qolib ketgan. Hozirgacha Yevropadagi davlatlar olsun, yoki Gollandiyani o'zi olsun, bu haqda Uyg'urlarga pek ijobiy bir tadbirlar yo'q. Shunga sizniki Gollandiya hukumatidan ko'rishingizda ularning imkoni qanday bo'ldi deb so'radi. To'g'ri, men ular bilan ko'rishyapman Gollandiya hukumatidan. Gerçi pek ta'siri va bir tadbir ilmgan bo'lsa-ham, bir yil burungi ahvoldan hozirgi ahvol yaxshi. Yani bularniki Uyg'urlarniki u yerda fatvolarni bilishga erishib, bularniki Uyg'urlar bo'lgan pozitsiyasi bag'ansiri o'zgaryapti. Shunlashqa bu ishlarga ikki taraf bor, birisi hukumat taraf, ammo bu bir erkin bir davlat bo'lg'achqa bu davlatni hukumatni uni qoyil qilish va ular o'zlarining beshiga kelganini ular anglatish sizlarning vazifanglar va sizlar bu beshiga kelganlarni Uyg'urlarniki başını geçirganini ularga taxmin yaxshi degan siri chuqur bir o'zgarishning bo'lganligiga men ishonman.
Can many of you tell the same story? You said your brother.
Yeah, I have more than 80 of my family, relatives, schoolmates, and also friends, and I have a long list. And I have one uncle has already been died in the camp 2 years ago, and still my brother-in-law is in the camp, and I never heard none of them been released, though there is a lot of news from China saying that all these people taken to the concentration camp has already been graduated, but actually it's not. And I did not get any information about even one of these 80 plus loved ones. And
Will most of the people here have the same story?
yeah.
He?
Yeah.
It's not only detention, but some of them are already dead in that concentration camp.
No, why wouldn't we have to take a picture a minute?
Kampta olan, ailesi kampta olanlar.
And actually, you know, we already have
Yetkilerin hemmisinin ailesi kampta
a
deyken.
list of the families and relatives
Hazır
of Dutch Uyghurs.
ailenle kampta bo'lganlarning hemmisi qo'l ko'tarang dedi. Kampta tutilganlarning.
There are a lot of Uyghurs not yet.
Bir şey kelgan Uyg'urlarning hemmisining ailesi kampta deyken.
Sufferings. And so actually, what we know about the sufferings of Uyghurs through the media is tip of the iceberg. And actually, the scale is quite larger than what's being reported now. We believe that. So yeah, we are here to tell about our stories. I think with the support of the U.S. Human Rights Policy Act, more and more Uyghurs are going to be willing to tell about the sufferings of their families and all that and days coming.
Detention for the United States. Family members who are lost in some of them will send to you again another way.
They wrote a letter to you.
Okay.
Hazır Amerika baş elçisiga qarindoshlarimiz o'zining oilasidagi tutilganlarningki arxivini, kimliklarini qo'liga tekkizyotdi. Qolgan kim qolganlarni yana biz birozdan keyin ayrim bir ko'rishmoqchi. Bu masalaninki oshkor tarafi. Hazır oshkor tarafi birozdan keyin maxfiy ko'rishgan vaqtida qolgan masalalarni deyishdi.
Good, thank you.
And can we come to the next question?
Uyghur suresi
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Mana 3 yil, 2 yil o'tgan ikkinchi oshida Amsterdam ishini namoyish qilayotgan nurg'un chetlarliklar bilan har yerga kelgan xalqimizga besan bilmaydi ekanda. Men shular bilan namoyish qilayotgan nurg'un taqdirda bu sizlarning bishini qilgan zulm deydi. Xitoyning ish huquqining nacharligi emas, lekin Xitoyniki Uyg'urlar mustamlika qilib kelgan. Sizlar mustamlikadan qutulmay turib bu xalqdan qutulolmaysizlar.
I've been protesting in the Dam Square for more than 2 years and a half, and actually before this, many foreigners do not know about who the Uyghurs are and where do they live. But as time passed by, more and more people are knowing about Uyghurs. But many of them saying that the reason of the suffering of the Uyghurs is not the root cause is not the human rights. Actually, it's the colonization of the Chinese nation to the Uyghur people.
Bularınki deydi hem de hazır komünistlik hemiz ağdırılıp gitti. Sevdik bakımı Yugoslaviya hem şu buların müstakillik gelişti. Xitayların hazır partiyası aldı bu da hazır dünyanın siyaseti kıyas kılıvattı. Xitaylar karşılaşsa Uygurlardan müstakillikle edip kutulup erkin hür yaşayışka imkaniyetler var mı? De bunu ben nurgadan soruldu. Ben bir siyasetçi emas bilmeyim. Dünyanın siyasetçisi belgeleri Amerika. Bu fırsatta Uygurların müstakillik buluş risk bulamdı.
As we may know, just like the former Soviet Union and the Yugoslavia, at the collapse of these communistic powers, the nations colonized by these powers get their independence. And do you think there is any possibility that the communist China is going to collapse within a new future, and the Uyghurs and Tibets and many other nations currently under the Chinese rule going to regain their independence in the future? What is your thought in this regard?
That will take a long time. Okay. What is that? Well, yeah, I would love to give you a positive answer on that, but
Gerçi ben sizlerge naytde icabi yani nayt pozitif bir cevap verişini kalayım bu noktada. Ama bunun gıcık vakit geçiş mümkün. Yani bunun kabrini bilmek tez.
Mesela Seyircisi bakım bir kız parçalayıp 15 müstemleket neymiş?
Yeah.
Ben cevap vereyim sonra sormayız. Aldı da İngilizce
Özümüzden arasındaki sual cevabını özümüz kılıp alaylı. Özümüz kılıp alaylı. Ma vaktini çıkarak adem gibi.
Independence is something which we shouldn't be thinking about at the moment if we want support from countries, because there are a lot of countries, there are a lot of people in different countries seeking for independence. And now I think our first goal should be our legitimate right, which we should be able to contact with our families, which are the people who are suffering in the camps, who are being raped, tortured, killed. They get their freedom, get them out of the camps first, prison first. I think the independence may be maybe for later, I think.
Hazırda şu özümüzdeki kanunda belgilengen kişilik hukuklarımızı qarab, mesela bu yerda uyda batqanlar va basqınç uçurayotgan, işkence qilayotgan, şoňa o hukuklarımızga hazır qarab hamda bu mustaqillik meselesini menimcha keyincha tartışqanlar yaxshi deb tushunadi hamda albatta.
You would make a very good ambassador. Yes, you are very smart, and yes, we should separate the two. The focus right now, I would agree, needs to be on human rights.
Thank you very much.
There are way too many places around the world where people are advocating for separation, but that gets to be a much more complicated and difficult issue. But the issue of human rights is one that will bring everybody, will bring more people together.
Başarıcımı şu hazır takımacaq özümüzdeki hak hukukları mustaqillik emas. Özümüzdeki hazır kanun belgilengen hak hukuklarımız dep sanıladı. Aşınğa merkezli şamını mühim dep qarayman.
Xitoyning bugungi kunda taraqqiyot qilishida Amerikaning qo'l dishi bor. Birinchidan, ikkinchidan, yolqon kelishimida bizning tariximizda bugungi nuqtaga yaqinda mustamlikaga Mümkün konuda içinde Amerika'nın rol oynayan, özünü Amerika bugünkü bizden üstünlüklerini karakter özünü bir başka eskiden geçmiş öteki Katar
The current situation of the Uyghur homeland is very tightly related to the Yalta Treaty of the Second World War, and because the U.S. was the most important part of the treaty, and the Uyghur region was given as a part of China in that treaty. So, and also another factor is because of the acceptance of the Chinese government to the WTO in 2001, and by this they become more powerful in terms of economics and politics. So, do you think America also has a responsibility in what is happening today in the Uyghur homeland? Yeah, I can't phrase it like this.
Does the United States bear responsibility in some ways?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, when Congress voted to allow China into the WTO in 2001, I was part of Congress. Okay.
2001-yilda Xitoy nima kirgan chog'da WTOga kirgan chog'da men kongressda ishlaydim. Unga qismdan bizni unga qo'l ko'tarib uni qilgan deydi.
I actually voted against it.
Men uni qarshi turgan deydi.
I wasn't that smart. But you know, the people that voted for it had every hope and expectation that bringing China into the WTO would bring moderation, improve economic relations with China, level the playing field with China from an economic standpoint, and would also provide the United States and others with a platform to work towards improving human rights in China. Obviously, that did not happen. And so this is now why the president is bringing a focus, and Congress is bringing a focus. I mean, passing a bill through Congress is not easy. I tried many times and failed many times in my 18 years in Congress. But to get a bill passed and to acknowledge what's happening to the Uyghurs right now is an identification by Congress, not necessarily that the United States did things wrong with Yalta or 2001. It just says that the conditions in China right now and what is happening with the Uyghurs is unacceptable, and we will stand with the Uyghurs to try to bring about change.
Xitoyni WTOga kirgizishda uni qarshi qilgan mening bek aqlli qo'lim emas bu narsaga. Va u chog'da menga o'xshash boshqa kongressmenlar Xitoyni WTOga qabul qilishga qo'shilganligini qilsa, ularni ham deb WTOga kirgan kun dunyo bilan taqimo chang aloqasi bo'lsa, iqtisodiyotdan, siyosatdan ularni o'zgarishiga va ularniki demokratlashishiga, taqimo o'zining xalqininki haq va huquqlariga rioya qilishiga hamda turk ularnikilar shu maqsadda ilingan bir qaror edi. Ammo undan keyin garchi uningga qarshi ovozlarni chiqqan bo'lsa-mu, hozirgacha davom qilib kelgan chog'da hamda Xitoyningki hargiz biz kutgandek bundoq o'zgarishninki mumkin emasligini to'liq tushunib yetib, hozir Xitoyning ayni vaqtda qilgan bu qarorniki xato ekanligi bilindi. Ammo uningda bir deymiz qasdiylik bu yo'q demakchi endi.
Mesuliyet to'g'risi yo'q bizda demakchi.
Yani ondan da bizde aynı vakitte şundak bilingen ve şundak ağan bununki hazırlıklı ekmanlık neticesine uçak bilinmegen demekçi.
Şaşırtın oldu da bir Yalta'da oldu, ikincisi belkiler sana dedi. WTO'ya giriş baskısından kim oldu Xitoy'un karşı tarafı?
I have one question.
He said, and also that on the Yalta Treaty of the Second World War, there is a share of the different geographics between Western powers and the communist Soviet Union and China. So, is there anything to say about the Yalta Treaty?
I have nothing to say about the Yalta Treaty. Okay, and primarily because I don't know that much about the Yalta Treaty and how it would have affected the Uyghurs. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead with the future.
Yeah.
And we are really thankful for the UYGHUR Human Rights Bill, and really thankful for sanctions against 4 Chinese officials who are abusing human rights in Uzbekistan. And I would like to know, is United States going to make another step and make a real action against Chinese Communist Party, and what they are doing in the region? A real step, a real action.
Well, I mean, you have the United States engaging with China on a whole range of issues. In the last couple of weeks, we've dispatched a couple of carrier task forces into the South China Sea. Our aircraft carriers along with their complementary ships. We are trying to put a tremendous amount of pressure on China for leveling the playing field economically. The president announced last week that because of how the World Health Organization did not confront China over COVID, that we were leaving the organization and we have to give a year's notice, but in a year we will be out of the WHO. The president signs the bill, the Human Rights Bill, and so we're engaged, and I think we've also just slapped some other sanctions on some Chinese officials. So that's what we're doing. So we're pushing in a number of different areas. We're also pushing on Huawei, 5G. We're making more and more progress with other countries on each one of those issues. Some are coming with us here, some are coming with us there. Yes, and I think it would be fair to say that the United States will continue pushing because we think these are important issues.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ben soran sual, yani en avval bizlerden kulaklarına rahmet ederiz. Hem de kelgüsü de Amerika texanbek işbirliği yapmakta besim kılandı. Hakiki bir hareket kılınandı deb sordum. So'san biz her tarafdan hareket kılvatımız. Mesela biz Janubiy Asiya tarafida Xitoy Gaychada shundoq harbiy jihatdan o'zaro to'qnash qilib qilishimiz. Anoniki biz yaqin yana bu Dunyo sanitar tashkilotidan chekilib chiqarganligimizni bildik. Chunki Dunyo sanitar tashkiloti taqdiqini bizga qoyillik qildi. Ondan başqa yerlerde biz bu Xitoylar mesela 5G, Huawei qatorliqlardan biz ularniki taraqqiyotini ularniki qar kuchlardan sanab chiqishni to'satimiz. Biz shunga o'xshagan nurg'un yerlarda ularning kuchini ajratishga va ular besim qilishga kuchaymiz. Albatta Uyg'urlar buni bir qismi.
Ahmetcan Pidoyev bilan biz o'ddilig'a bir-birimizning chekadigan to'g'ri kelib qoldik hozir.
Rasululloh'un muqası nima uchun Xitoyga maydonga tashlab qo'ygan?
Hello sir, as a last person I have something to say to you. We have a lot of evidence that what is occurred in Uzbekistan is both ethnical and as well as cultural genocide, and there is a lot of organization in Uyghur community who works for human rights, and we have some organizations that works for recovering independence of Uzbekistan government. So personally, I think that independence of Uzbekistan is good for the peace of the world. So I hope the U.S. government support the organization who works for recovering our independence, Uzbekistan government. Thank you.
Understand. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum arkadaşlar, bu yarım saat vakti şundan
Meni 20 minut sualim bor.
Bilashga imkoniyat yo'q, vaqt qo'shdi, qapolmanglar. Resim tushirdi boshlantirlarimiz birlikda. Sho'nglar bosib yaqin kelib Başlatın etrafında tutuşanlar.
Soruyorum.
Dişket şeyler.
Yeah, can we take a picture?
There are some questions, but they said you don't have that much time.
Yeah, okay.
So they are being very polite.
Karındaşlar keyifler bir tane mi? Kızlar. Aldıkları iş güç orunda kaçıyor. Çoğun aldığı oturanlar kanalı keyif bıraktı.
Aziz qarindoshlar, bugun Amerika bosh elchisi Gollandiyadagi Uyg'urlar bilan birlikda bir dalada suhbat ilib bordik. Hozir yarim soatlik vaqti bor ekan, o'sha yarim soatni biz bilan o'tkazgan bo'ldi. Savollarga